We've been wondering, is anything going to happen about Marjorie Greene? What conspiracy theory is it gonna take for the GOP to actually pretend that they care about this? Well, something kind of might be being done. Here is a reporter talking about conversation that Kevin McCarthy had with Marjorie Greene and how she responded and what their plan going forward is.
McCarthy and Greene sat down, and McCarthy tried to lay out, from my understanding, that this was coming to a head and that her controversial comments from years past, months past, were putting Republicans in a really bad spot, and they were frankly sick of it. He tried to lay out options for her, my understanding is, to say you can go on TV, you can apologize for your remarks, you can denounce QAnon, this conspiracy theory that in part led to some of the violence we saw on January 6th. And if you don't, you could see GOP colleagues remove you. And my understanding is this didn't perhaps go as well as he wanted. There was some hope with Republicans that she would do the graceful thing and remove herself without making them act. So McCarthy called a late night meeting last night with his top lieutenants, basically the ones who choose committee assignments. And they talked about this. And my understanding is the consensus in the room from my reporting is that everyone agreed she's probably going to have to come off education and labor. There was a question about whether they could go to Steny Hoyer, the Democratic leader in the House, and make some sort of deal to keep him from having a floor vote on this issue. The big thrust of the meeting, or the feeling in the room, was that a floor vote and forcing Republicans to take a vote, a yes or a no, in terms of removing a colleague would be catastrophic on the campaign trail. They would either get hit from the base, or if they were in a swing district, they could, be labeled as somebody protecting a QAnon conspiracy theorist.
Okay, so that's the leadership. JR, what do you think about Kevin McCarthy's plan and about the conversation he had with Marjorie Greene?
I can't stand Kevin McCarthy, but this is the best thing as far as what he can do to protect himself, his party, and their minority in the House right now. To maybe hope that she would do a normal thing, like spare us all of the drama, spare us having to go through continuing to have to defend you, because we will. And also spare us the embarrassment of having to keep hearing all these things that you've done and said in the past that everyone is getting on us about. And if we can clear all this up, obviously you're remaining in the House, nobody's gonna expel her. So you at least have to just step aside and we continue to do our obstructions that we're planning to do for this entire term for Biden's administration. Just let us be annoying. Stop being extra annoying so that we can't be annoying. And that's the best thing he can pull off right now. But the problem is you have someone who thrives off of being extra annoying and wants to disrupt everything and destroy everything in her path like a Tasmanian devil. So that's who she is. You're dealing with a Tasmanian devil. So Kevin McCarthy, you can go up to the Tasmanian devil all you want and say, hey, this is what we need to do, Tasmanian devil. Stop spinning, sit down and have a dinner. Bugs Bunny, you're never gonna catch him. And he'll go blah, 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 blah. And that's what the Tasmanian devil does. You can't stop him. That's what he does. That's what Marjorie Taylor Greene does. That's all he can deal with. So, sorry, this is what you guys have created by supporting a president who acts just like this woman acts. That's who you've got now. Now you have someone that's not powerful, who acts like Donald Trump, who was powerful. What are you gonna do?
I don't want to distract from the very good point that you made, but that was an amazing Tasmanian devil you just did right
Was
there.
it really?
Much of our audience probably doesn't know what that is, but that was very accurate. Those are some professional quality sound effects there. And Tasmanian devil emote coming soon. Anyway, yeah, no, I think you're right. Look, I think in theory, he could say, we are facing a crossroads for our party. What do we want our party to be? Do we want it to be the party of anti-science, anti-education, making light of conspiracy theories? Or do we want all of that and Marjorie Taylor Greene on top of it? Because they were bad before. And he doesn't want to be a part of that choice. So he's fundamentally not a leader. A leader who actually cared about the Republican Party would want the Republican Party to not be the party of satanic sacrifice going forward. All he's worried about right now is, well, and by the way, it's really revealing that he gets where this is going, which is my bigger concern. He doesn't want a floor vote because then every one of his members needs to go on record as being for Marjorie Greene or against her. And that's bad, not right now really, but going forward. In theory, they could run against Marjorie Greene and the Republican Party protecting her. And the reason that's bad isn't just the stuff we found out. It's he knows that Tasmanian Devil's gonna spin and they're gonna eat stuff and they're gonna break stuff. She is going to do increasingly insane things. And if his members vote to protect her, and then we find out more, and she does more, and she says more, it is going to produce so much pain for the Republican caucus. And that's the only thing he's worried. That's the only amount of protection he's worried about providing for his party. He won't actually kick her out, which is the obvious answer for this.
It's what politicians do. It's you're supposed to act like you're doing something and then not really do it, and then hope everyone gives you credit for doing something. And he's trying to work that balance, but this woman is a little bit too wild for him and continues to throw things out there and misinterpret, mischaracterize everything that's being said and done. So he's kind of having to fight within his own group before he even gets a chance to fight outside of it, because he can't calm them down enough. And that's what you've, I mean, this is the consequences for your actions for supporting a president that was like the previous one that just left office. So now deal with it. Take the stress. You thought you got rid of him, but no, you've created more of him.
Yeah, and by the way, like so much gets normalized, and I know that like every day new people get into politics and start following it actively. But I want to try to break through to some people and say, this isn't normal to protect her to this extent. And it's not normal that, well, no, of course you're never going to expel someone from your party. You're never gonna ask them to resign. Yes, in the past they would. Katie Hill resigned like 3.5 weeks ago because she engaged in an affair. That was it. She had an affair and she's gone now. Marjorie Greene thought a bullet to Nancy Pelosi's skull was more efficient than voting her out of office. Among space lasers and clones of RBG and all the shootings are fake. And like literally, I cannot remember all of the things that each individually would be disqualifying for an elected representative. This isn't normal to protect her. And it's not really even about her. Kevin McCarthy, by being such a coward in this area, is indicating that he gets that she is not a one-off. A one-off you can kick out. He's worried about the next wave and the next wave, and that this might be the only Republican Party coming down the pike is more Marjorie Greenes and more Madison Cawthorns and more Lauren Boeberts, people who make the normal crazies of the past, the Steve Kings and the Louis Gohmerts, look sort of quaint by comparison.
Yeah, and by the way, this is a big illustration of what the Republican Party is becoming. And so they have to go with the crazy because they actually don't have any principles. If you had principles, you'd be like, okay, this is who we are, this is where we're going. And somehow this crazy wing of the party is trying to take over, and we can't allow that because our principles are A, B, and C. No, you go, this crazy wing of the party is taking over. So I guess our principles now have to become D, E, and F. So you just switch it because that's what's politically helpful for you at the moment. That's not principles, that's not leading, that's not listening to your constituents.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.